Give it me. Aren't you forgetting something? Listen, douchebag, I know you're in the arty zone right now, but you did say that you had some songs that needed to be written today. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Because, that EP is not going to write itself, you know what I'm saying?
You have a point. I do have quite a few good ideas for some songs. Where do you think you're going? Well, I was just gonna... We were having a good time together. We were making beautiful things together. You do want to make beautiful things, do you not? Things that you could sell at the markets coming up later on in the month, or are you happy going in there with old material?
She knows what she needs to do. Why don't you just fall off the easel already?
Oh, that is just nasty. I hereby curse your songwriting session with common chord progressions and flat singing.
Why you? You are such a douchebag. Whatever, we all know that music comes first. Music is her first love. I will always be the first love of her life. You always...
Does this scenario sound familiar to you? I am both a musician and an artist. I am both. I cannot be either one or the other. It is so tied into my identity of who I am, and I love both completely equally. If you asked me which one to choose, I would not be able to choose. And it's quite common for creatives to have more than one passion. There are many actors that also sing, many singers that also act, and there are actors that write. I mean, what's his name? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck come to mind. Good Will Hunting. They wrote that and they acted in it. Writing and acting, completely different skill sets. And then you have epic masters of many crafts like Tim Burton, filmmaker extraordinaire, but also artist and amazing poet, all wrapped into the one package. Oh, and it's not just modern artists that are like this. Michelangelo, hello, back in the day, both an amazing painter and sculptor. Sistine Chapel, Sculpture of David. Leonardo da Vinci, both scientist and creative genius. Mike Myers, both Austin Powers and Shrek. No, I'm only joking. So as you see, chasing multiple creative pursuits is a very common thing, but it also comes with a very big problem. You see, any discipline of art takes a lot of time and attention to do properly. You have limited time and limited energy. And so when you work on one, quite often the other one suffers, and it gets to the point where you've worked on this so much that you start getting an itch, and then you need to start working on the other one, and then you switch. So how do we balance our 2 or 3 creative passions and make sure that they have enough time and attention to grow and become fruitful without killing ourselves in the process? And is it even possible to be known for 2 creative things equally? Or are you diluting your personal brand to the point where you're not really attracting any particular audience? And then if you do try to separate them, can you really handle posting on 2 Instagram accounts, 2 TikTok accounts, 2 websites, 2 YouTube channels? Probably not. I mean, I have enough problems doing one consistently. And it's not because we're lazy, it's because we're not content creators. We're artists. So we're doing the thing first, which is the music, the art, the dancing, the writing, the whatever, and then we create the content on top of that. So therein lies the dilemma. Keep together or separate. What's the answer? Ah yes, I am the guru of all marketing, and I am here to answer your questions. There is a kid screaming in the background. First things first. When we say multiple creative passions, I'm assuming we're talking about things that are absolutely 100% must-do things for you. That if you do not spend time doing these things, your soul will die a miserable and slow death because you have not spent time doing the things that make you the happiest in this life. We are not talking about hobbies or fun things that you think about but don't ever really act on. So whether you're struggling with multiple hobbies, fun things, or actual passions should be pretty obvious, but in case it's not clear enough, let's break it down. Nobody ever has to tell me to go and do my piano practice, to do my singing practice, to draw, or to go and write a song. These are things that I love to do, and I almost get an itch underneath my skin if I do not spend enough time doing these things. Hobbies, on the other hand, I need motivation to do. They're fun, and dancing would probably be a really good example about it. It's fun to do. And I go to class and I have a really great time. And then when I'm at class, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to become the best dancer in the universe. But then I come home again and I don't practice. Yes, I will go and buy all the latest shoes and gear and everything that I don't really need, but think I need to become really good at dancing. But then it just leaves my brain as soon as I leave class. That's a hobby. And the third category, which is fun things that you like to think about doing but never get around to doing, vintage hand lettering would be a really good example of that for me. It's something that I've always wanted to do. It's been on my to-do list for years. I've bought Domestika courses in, preparation for doing it, and yet I have never done it. I just think about it, put it away in a oh, that'd be nice one day to do kind of thing, and never act on it. So once you've worked out if you're dealing with a passion, a hobby, or just a fun idea, you can deal with them accordingly. If it's a fun idea, dump it into a list and move on with your life. If it's a hobby, have fun with it. Just don't spend too much money buying all the things that you'll probably only use once or twice. But if it's a passion we're dealing with, that leads us to the next step. You see, when I was researching this video, I actually came across quite a few extremely unhelpful vlogs and blogs, many of which said extremely unhelpful things like, just be really organised. Like, hello, like we're multi-passionate, creative people. Organisational prowess isn't exactly like our forte. And they were like, oh, time block, do all these, calendar productivity things. And then the worst one was when they said, just pick one. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like cutting a limb off. I don't know about you, but I can't just pick one, and we've established this. So this is where we're at. We cannot not do the multiple creative things, right? And for years, I actually hid myself from my audience. Hello. Because my marketing brain was like, hey, the music and the art are too different. Some people will only like the art, some people will only like the music, and by putting them together, you're going to dilute everything up and you're never going to attract the one specific audience. And I could see like the clear brands for both, like art being all like gothic-y with a little bit of the cartoony kind of thing in there, and then Victorian steampunk, whereas the art was kind of more sophisticated for a jazzy audience, 1920s. You know what I mean? And I just tried to keep them separate, and as a result, what happened is, first of all, I was always struggling. I had this constant internal struggle of like, oh, I want to spend time doing this, so that suffered, and vice versa. I never posted on any of my social media accounts. And also because I'm not being 100% authentic, because I'm hiding like half of my personality on either which platform. And so instead of having two things, and Lord help you if you have three things, I'm just saying, and instead of having them compete, why not combine them to create one cohesive brand? And there is a trick to doing this. The trick is to find the common themes. For me, both my music and art do have some similarities running across them because they're both created by me, the same person, right? And so if I break it down, the similarities include both have a vintage historical element / vibe to them. With the art, you've got 1920s flappers, steampunk, you've got the Victorian era characters. For music, you've got, again, 1920s jazz. I do folk songs, and you've got themes. I've done songs talking about like Jack the Ripper, that is quite old school and things like that. Second theme, crossover, would be costumes. In my art, I love drawing these beautiful elaborate dresses. It's all about the costumes that the characters are wearing. I draw what I wish I had in my wardrobe. And it's the same thing for the music. I loved to wear all of the flapper clothing and the glitz and the glamour of the 1920s. You know, the more bling, the better. Third theme would be a hint of the macabre. So in my art, it's pretty obvious. You've got skulls, you've got bats, you've got crows, you've got black and white gothic kind of people, kind of puppets kind of going like this. You know, it's pretty obvious. With the music, however, it's a little more subtle, but it's definitely there. Songs, again, like Jack the Ripper, with kind of unusual, sinister themes underlying them. Other songs, like I've done Things I Do to Get To You, which was a song basically about stalking, kidnapping, and obsession. And then the last theme would probably be humour, because again, like self-deprecating humour is a protection mechanism for me, and it spreads across both the music and the art. So we've got quite a few themes there, which could easily create a cohesive brand. So this is kind of where my advice sort of really stops, because I am doing this myself for the first time, combining a brand and being completely authentic online, doing both music and art combined together. But the way that I'm approaching it is from a project point of view. So instead of working on just an art project and then waiting till I get the itch for music and then switching, I am now creating projects that incorporate both elements. So if I'm working towards, let's just say, an art exhibition, it will also be, it'll also have like a music performance as part of that. And the art that I create is also going to be connected to the type of music I'm writing at the time. So I'm getting one sphere of influence to create like an overall project. And I think that multifaceted approach is much more rich in the delivering of the offer that you give to the audience. And I actually think that the internet is ready for this as well. I think they want less polished, more authenticity in the artists and the people that they follow. So you kind of have to be courageous enough to unleash all of you online. And then when I was researching this, I was actually looking for artists who had successfully done both. And I was surprised, because there are quite a few really great examples. And if you know of any examples, leave them in the links below, because I'd love to see some more. But I came up with like Yoko Ono, both a musician and like a visual performance artist. And her theme is like avant-garde, like that's kind of like her theme that ties it all together. Obviously, Tim Burton does film, poetry, and art, but he's got that one cohesive kind of overbranching theme, which is his kind of signature gothic-y sort of style. I think the point of this video is it's time to stop trying to put yourself into one little box creatively, to unleash all of you onto the universe and have the courage to share it. And then hopefully people like what they see. And I think we also really need to start supporting each other as artists as well. I don't know if it's just because I live in Perth and we've got a little bit of a tall poppy syndrome here in Perth, but like it's really nice when the artistic community come together and share ideas to create like this, I don't know, amazing community that is rich and is like the beating heart of what leads humanity to be what it is, because that is ultimately the offering that artists have, you know, to the world. Like that's the problem that we solve. We provide inspiration. We are the reflection of what is going on in society. We are the beating heart of humanity and everything that makes us intrinsically human. We're escapism as well. Imagination, ideas. This is such an important role that we have to play. And we can't kowtow to the algorithm and what the algorithm wants us to do. We have to be free. We have to be free to explore.
At the end of the video, ask them to subscribe.
Well, I'm not going to ask them to subscribe because they already know what to do.
Well, then ask them what they want to see next.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I know. Go on.
So what do you want to see next?
I don't know.
Did you like this video?
I don't know.
If you did, please give me a thumbs up and let me know.
Yeah, thumbs up.
And leave me a comment to let me know what kind of video you want to see next. Do you want to see a music video?
No.
And if you do want to see music, do you want to see some folk or do you want to see some jazz?
Folk.
Let me know. Do you want to see an art video? I mean, we can do a video on like drawing Gothic, whatever, plants. I don't know. Let's do something. Or you can have another video like this where we explore the intricacies of being creative in the universe.
In the universe. I like that.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time. See you next time.
God, that went into a rant at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, real did.
I thought we were doing really, really well until the end, and then I just like brain farted onto the internet.
Brain fart.
I